Good morning and welcome to Morning Moments. Thank you for joining us today, whatever platform, and actually whenever you're watching this. I am so glad that have taken the time to watch Morning Moments this morning. Today I have from Mississippi. He is considered the songbird of the South, and he'll tell you probably a little bit more about that. Recording artist Jonathan Haynes, welcome to Morning Moments.
Thank you. Hello, 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 everyone. I'm so excited to be a part of this wonderful morning show.
I've heard so much about you, and I've been excited about. I've been watching some of your videos on YouTube and some of your things that you've done, and I'm excited about having you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jonathan. When I ask the question, what do you do, and why do you do it?
Right. Again, hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Jonathan Haynes from Gulfport, Mississippi, the songbird of the South. And I got that because I traveled all around Mississippi and they said, "You sound like a songbird." And so they gave me the name, the songbird of the South. And so I take it. I don't take it for granted because that's a big honor for me, and it's just a privilege. But also, I'm a award-winning gospel recording artist. I'm a three-time international best-selling author. I have a podcast, a clothing line, motivational speaker, and more. But I'm a child of God who loves God. I'm only 26 years old, and I tell you, God has blown my mind. But it hasn't always been like this. I can tell you that. I can go from when I tried to commit suicide 3 times at age 14, 18, and 20. I'm 26 years old now. And the most impactful when I tell people this message, when I was 20 and when I had a gun to my head, I pulled the trigger, but the bullet didn't come out. And I knew there was a meaning of me staying here because who can imagine that I put the bullet in there, I pulled the trigger, it wasn't locked, but God knew there was a mission for me to stay here. And I remember yelling out to him and saying, "God, I thank you for changing my life right there at that moment." I gave my life back to God because I grew up in the church. I've been baptized since I was 6 years old, so I knew where to go. I knew who I was, and I knew how to pray. But sometimes we get in those stagnated ways where we still feel hopeless and we still feel lost. And at that moment, I knew there was a purpose because if he didn't take me the first time, he didn't take me the second time, and he didn't show enough take me the third time, I knew there was a reason why I'm still here. And so it's my mission and my goal to tell anybody, no matter where we come from, no matter what we go through, you may not have my situation, but no matter what we go through, we still can win. And God always has a way of flipping the script and putting the people that they think is in last. He always puts us back in first place. And so it's my mission. That's what I do. I sing, I speak, I write books to tell people no matter what you go through, you still can come out on top. And literally, God has blown my mind. You heard the resume. And last year, God awarded me the honorary doctorate. And I could not believe what God has done. Somebody that got a GED who dropped out of school to receiving an honorary doctorate. And so I'm like, I'm just amazed. And this year, as well, I'm receiving the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from the President of the United States of America. I'm telling you, all these things are coming from nobody but God. And so anytime I get on the platform, anytime I go somewhere, I tell people it's nobody but God. You may be frustrated. You may not be in the place that you want to be in right now, but you still have life and you still have breath and you still have the ability to do whatever you want to do in your mind. Faith is the size of a mustard seed. If you just have the faith to push, to endure, to do anything that you want to do in life, you can do it. Your new brother, Dr. Jonathan Haynes, is telling you whatever you want to do, you can do it. Don't give up on your dreams. If those people around you are saying you can't, those are the people that you need to move away from because those are the people that God did not want you to surround yourself with. And sometimes in life, you have to remove yourself from those family and those so-called friends because sometimes they want to see you suffer. They want to see you in the same places that you were in. And lastly, I always say this, don't let nobody put you in a situation that you have prayed yourself out of. And that's very important because people don't want to see the years that I am now. People might still talk about me, but I'm never going to give them that much power over my life. And again, I am just simply a man of God to tell anybody wherever I am, that no matter what we go through, no matter where we come from, you still can make it on top. Look at my story, look at my brother's story of this wonderful show and all the other wonderful, amazing interviews have done. That no matter what we go through, you still can come out on top and be successful and be who God has called you to be.
It shocks some people sometimes when they hear, well, there's somebody that was raised in the church, somebody that knew God, and they had these suicidal thoughts.
Mhm.
We're not, just because we're raised in church, we're not immune.
Mhm.
And just because we're Christians, we're not immune to issues of behavior health. And doesn't mean we're weak. It just means we're human.
Right.
And although we go through it, God can be with us too. And what would you tell with folks that's suffering from depression, suffering from those thoughts? What would you tell them to encourage them to for hope?
Right. My number one motto is don't give up. No matter what the situation may seem, my number one thing is to pray and believe God for your change. Because at the time that I went in, I knew where my help would come from, but I wasn't in the mindset of doing. But anytime I get in those situations now, my first thing is to pray and say, God, I don't know what's going on with me in my mind and spiritually, but I need you to come in and to save me from these thoughts. Save me from the mind boggling depression, or save me from anything that's trying to torment my life. So I want you to understand and know that everybody goes through these things. They may not say it, but always the number one thing is to ask somebody, call somebody and say, I don't know what's going on. Can you help me? Can you pray for me? Sometimes in certain situations, it's sad to say, sometimes you call people and they don't believe you. And sometimes those are the situations when people do give up. And then now the people that they looked for are battling depression now because they said I could have helped, but I didn't believe. So it's always important to always believe when somebody say I don't feel a certain way or I don't feel the same. So pray, talk to someone, and believe God that He can change your life for the better.
And there's nothing wrong with asking for help.
No, it's not.
And there's nothing wrong asking for professional help too, because
Right.
sometimes there's an imbalance. As a retired nurse and as a nurse myself, sometimes there's an imbalance that meds need to help balance you out, so that your mind could be focused enough to get what the Lord's trying to work with you.
That's right. I always say that as well. Always seek out counsel. You know, they always say in the church, but sometimes the church can't help you the way that a professional can. So it's always as well to do therapy. I did therapy from 14 to 17. And so it's always good to have additional help outside of the church.
Uh, what is some of the songs that you've done that has had some of the greatest impacts in your ministry?
Yes, so I have done a lot of features, but I put out two singles and it was called Thank You, Lord, and I Love You. Thank You, Lord was a remix version of the old song by Walter Hawkins. And Thank You, Lord, tragedies are commonplace, but I remixed it and put a youthful tone and signature to it. And that song was all on the radios. People love it. I put that out in almost 2018 or 19, and people still play it on the radio. They still come up to me, but my newest baby, which came out in 2020, was I Love You. And it's an amazing song. It's a different type of song to bring the youth. It still has the melodic tones for the older people because I always hang around older people or the seniors or the new generation, as we like to call them. They're not seniors, but I always give it for the young people and the old. And that song has changed the world because it just simply states in the song, hello, is it anybody you're looking for? And it's like God is saying, I'm right here. I'm the one who saved you. I'm the one who delivered you. You know, so sometimes we don't know who's out there. And the song is just simply a love song from God saying, I'm here. I'm able to heal. I'm able to deliver. I'm the one gave my only son that you have life more abundantly. So that song is so amazing. Thank you, Lord, and I love you.
It goes hand in hand when you talk about needing others and saying, hello, Lord, are you there? I've heard the saying, sometimes I know God's there, but sometimes I just need to talk to somebody with skin on. So, you know, so that's where that community is so important. That's where reaching out to somebody that's going through something and saying, I know you're going through something, and I'm here for you, brother. I'm here for you, sister.
Yes.
And to know that you're in it, we're in it together.
Right. That's amazing. That's what I always say, having somebody to depend on. You know, I have a small circuit around me, but I love them dearly. They will give their last for me. You know, sometimes we have to understand who's there for you and who's not there for you. Because some people want to tag along now because they see the success or see the things that you got going on. But I want the people still around me that knew when I was going through depression, the suicide thoughts, they were the main ones saying, I'll be there for you, or they said, I see something greater in you. So it's always to have somebody around you that supports you truly as well.
Are you changing people, or are people changing you? That's the big question, and for the good and the bad. I
Right.
know one time when my daughter was, we were questioning about what to do for her going to school, and she was wanting to go to public school. I said, well, I told her that if you set a block of ice and you melt the ice, you're affecting the ice. If you set on that block of ice and you get cold, the ice is affecting you. And I
Right.
says, what are you going to do in public school for Jesus? And so sometimes people around us freeze the gives us the freeze, and we're not growing, and we need to not hang around them because they're
Yeah.
bringing us down. Not that we shouldn't help lead them, but they should be they should be giving us strength one to another. And like you said, sometimes there's a need to cut ties.
Yes, yes, yes. It's very important. I say that as well. I can love you from afar. I can forgive you from afar, but as well, I just can't put myself in situations or tie myself to people that can slide me back into the places that I once was. So it's important. We're not saying just storm away. You can love, you can forgive, but sometimes you just can't be around certain people anymore, and it's okay. You might, it may be hard, but sometimes God gives you the fruition that it's okay, and they're not any good for you, but it's okay to keep them on the side, say hey, happy holidays here and there, but when something is good for you. I always get the feeling when somebody that's new or anybody comes around me, God gives me the ability that I can sense that it's not going to be good for me. He gives me, like, it's just something that tingles around my body that I know certain people are not good for me, but it's okay. God, sometimes I always say, I just need me and God. It's okay if it's just me and God. It'll be
Right.
okay. Yeah.
Well, down below, you've been watching some of the links I've been putting down. You've also seen some of the pictures of the CDs and products and books that he is available. Also, information about Margie Santos, his agent, if you need to get a booking for a church event or event that and she'll work those details out with you in the website. Go to the website, check out where he's going so that you could maybe go to one of his concerts, one of his events. Check out his website to see what's available so that you could support him financially through the products or through giving, or just through prayer. And speaking of prayer, as soon as this interview is over, I want you to take the time and pray for my brother. Dr. Jonathan Haynes needs your prayers, folks, and you need the practice. So pray that God would bless him in everything that he does and all his endeavors. And God's got some special work for him. This young man, the best is yet to come for him. And I want you to be praying for him. Any closing thoughts that you have before we leave?
All I can say is don't give up, chase your dreams, and do it afraid. And again, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Pass this interview on to others. And if you would, keep coming back for some more morning moments.